Welcome to your known unknown, where Source and I will help shed light on what's unknown for you, to you. Happy 2025 fire signs. This reading is for you, fire signs. It's going to be Aries, Leo, Sagittarius energies and all placements pertaining to fire signs. We all got them, so this message somehow, some way is meant for you. We're going to pull a few cards, some animal spirit, kind of oracle wild unknown cards, and then we're going to hop into the tarot. So without further ado, let's get to it, let's into it, and let's pull some cards for the fire signs on what's coming in, the energies for 2025 that we need to see. Angels, spirits, guides, ancestors. Perfectly, fluidly, effectively, and efficiently for all fire signs. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We have first card up, the communicate card, and it is with a bat. So if you're seeing any bats, if maybe you're prone or drawn to bats, this message is for you. If you like Batman, this is definitely for you. I'm going to read the message here for you, for us, with the communicate card. This card represents communication and connection. Animals from bats to dolphins use echolocation to scout the world around them, hunt down prey, find mates, or detect obstacles in their path. This form of communication with the world is alien to our human processes, and yet increasingly familiar as our species has begun to communicate electronically. This card symbolizes connection to the invisible, as well as connection to the world around us. In Navajo mythology, the bat is a nighttime emissary for the talking god, carrying messages where ordinary people cannot. This card might encourage you to talk through your problems even if they seem insurmountable. The Awen symbol, which sits behind the bat, is a druid symbol for the spirit of poetic inspiration sent from nature or the gods. It has become popular in neo-druidry as an emblem of the spirit of life which flows within music, poetry, and stories. Druid bards are musicians, storytellers, and artists who use their art to communicate ancient stories, philosophy, and their understanding of nature. Like the bat who carries messages through the shadows of mystery, the bard communicates mysteries which we aim to solve through listening and interpretation. This card reminds you to express yourself and find your voice. It may also urge you to acknowledge the hidden messages that have been troubling you. The shadow reading for this card. The bat in Aesop's fable is considered a creature of deception, neither bird nor mouse. When associating this story with communication, it is a warning to look out for those who speak falsely or claim to be something that they are not. It may also symbolize blocked communication, stubbornness, and misunderstandings. All right, fire signs. Now, one thing with the fire signs too, that this is coming out, and this is very appropriate, I feel. I just did a reading for air signs, and air and fire like to go hand in hand together. Air signs aside, one of their biggest messages in that was the raccoon spirit from a different deck. And that was kind of representing this idea of artistry within your life. And I just want to clarify with that you don't have to be an artist for that metaphor to be pertaining to you. That can absolutely still be correlated as your life in general, because your life is a canvas, man, and you just got to paint it. You're learning how and what brushes to use. You're learning how to stroke. You're learning hand placements, metaphorically speaking, and maybe literally speaking for some of you. But for the fire sign community, this doesn't have to pertain towards artistry. This is pertaining towards the fact of communication. and the subtlety and gentleness and the art of communication, in my opinion. I think that that's a big message for a lot of fire signs, with gentle communication and learning how to really speak fluidly, not emotionally. We all speak passionately. Fire signs like to speak passionately, and that's beautiful and it's perfect. Nothing wrong with it. But there can be a form of tact that I've recognized in myself and some other people still working on self, that communication feels both ways, and as it's being felt from both, giver and receiver, vice versa, you have to receive as much as you're giving too, appropriately. And there's an art to it, in my opinion. Anyways, correspondences element, the bat is represented by the air element, and here we are again with air. Perfect. That's funny. Flora correspondences, nature correspondences, club moss, mint, and iris. Mint is phenomenal, by the way. I'm just going to be an advocate right now. If y'all don't like peppermint tea, that's so good. Straight up, like nothing in it. And to be honest, peppermint tea with a little maple syrup in it is pretty fire as well. No pun intended, fire signs. Stones connected with this card for communication. Celestite. I'm going to butcher this. Cerussite, blue chalcedony, and wolfenite. All right, wolfenite. That sounds kind of cool. I don't think I've ever seen a wolfenite, and I don't think I've ever seen a cerussite, unless that's like that green one. It's like chartreuse or something. Spell work connected to this card. Ancestral work. So learning about your family history, listen, if you don't have anybody above you in your lineage, sharing stories with maybe a partner or a sibling, or even just reminiscing on your own, talking about when Great Aunt Martha fell down the stairs at the picnic and the porch, and all the kids ran up and got her with a wiffle ball bat. I don't know, whatever you want. But ancestral work, recognizing the ancestors, really digging deep into your roots. Ancestral work can even be traditions that you are familiar with that were not conventional traditions, things that only specific family members really enjoyed. And you can practice those, and that's a form of tribute. It's a form of connection and prayer to those who have passed. And I feel, especially with the rune in the back, what was, I forgot the name of the rune. Oh, Awen, obviously representing a form of communication, that it goes deeper than just verbal. It goes way deeper than just verbal. Divination, to pulling tarot, pendulums, tea readings, reading sticks, scrying, free writing. I chose to, the energies chose me, the energies of Urim and Thummim, which in other words is yes or no. And yes or no are very powerful. I found a few totems that really helped guide me through my thoughts, through my stepping into forms of power that I stepped into, where I needed guidance and I didn't have the guidance I needed around me. And it came from a lot of ancestors, and it comes from a lot of spirit and source and higher self. And I found out that they were tapping into the totems I was using. They were very special to me. They were sacred. So that's how you create a totem, is, you bless it, you keep it, it's special. You don't show somebody that. And if you do show somebody, it's very few and far between. I think I showed one person the tricks up my sleeve. That was also only one person who was capable or aware enough to receive the messages I was sharing with them too. Again, communication. It didn't work with all the people I did try to share it with. Everybody thought I was freaking crazy. So you got to keep your totems kind of to yourself. You kind of start to look a little weird at some points. But luck or blessing on a speaking engagement or presentation. So praying for good luck on something you have to speak for, or even, let's see, yeah, encouraging clear communication. Even that, like even just speaking up for self will be a really valid energy that you are stepping into. That is going to be the basis of this reading, more or less the basis of this reading is how, why, what, and where communication needs to be amplified, intentfully focused. You know, we want to be mindful of what we're doing, and connection, and I feel everything that you want in 2025 will flow through forms of communication. And I'm also hearing that that does not have to represent as verbal as well, communication. They can be acts of kindness, generosity, and unconditionality. Those work just as importantly. Also, emotionally controlled conversations, I'm hearing. That's very important for a lot of the fire community. Us fire signs. So, would you like me to pull another one here too? Just that one? Just the one card for us? We're just doing the one card on that one. Communication. I think what it's going to be offering you, because on this underside, shadow side of the deck is a rebirth, and that's the snake. So the card closest to my hand is snake energy, and it is titled Rebirth. So very interesting. Whether it be we're going through one, whether it be communication will help lead to one, or maybe the rebirth has been gone through to the point where you can communicate. You know, we're all on different points in these journeys, and we're all in this puddle of time that we're experiencing. So the energies that you were born into are, to a degree, somewhat in sync, until fully consciousness of a creator is born. And that's what we're all working on, is opening up our inner power. Rebirth, you know? All of it, like I said. Okay. Let's pull into some tarot. We're complete with those, and let's dive deep. You know? Angels, spirits, guides, ancestors. Let's see what the fire signs need to see. What energies are we tapping into for 2025 that's coming towards us to expect here? Let's work backwards. Yeah? Let's work backwards for success. You know? Let's see what we can expect. Thank you so much. The Hierophant. Card 5, the Hierophant. Ooh, don't slip now. Thank you, thank you. And the Hierophant is kind of like learning and teaching. It is diplomatic communication. It is spiritual education. It is, and spiritual equals emotional. All right, we're people, and this is how we experience. The senses trigger chemical and electrical responses in your system that fluctuate these chemicals and hormones and everything, and you think a thought, you feel a feeling, and all of a sudden you're in an emotion instantly, stemming from what you believe is the perception of triggering said emotion. So, and what's telling you that are your five senses: your ears, eyes, touch, mouth, and smell. And that's how you're picking up your environment, right? Next card up, the Hermit. So, fire signs, big, major arcana cards sitting right here, right off the bat. We got a 5 and a 9, which has a lot of versatility in numerology. 5, 9, 14, 1, 4, down to 3. You know? Okay. It's hitting a lot of places, lots of places deep in our soul. Okay? So keep that in mind. There is this energy of, I'm hearing the, should I pull another one before I say anything? Okay. This is a 2025 special reading. We have the Death card. Wait, yeah, the Death card. And we have the Queen of Swords, more air. Queen of Swords is air, water. Independence. The Empress on the bottom of the deck. I'm seeing a lot of inward movement that's happening. Not movement like you're going through it all inward. I'm saying like you've moved a lot around inside yourself. A lot is being moved around inside of yourself. It's keeping you learning more about your inner and outer environment. You're thinking logically about your understandings. And it's the art itself is what 2025 offers. I feel like with these transitions astrologically, stepping into these new celestial energies that we're experiencing, you know, our planet is in places in the universe where gravity hasn't affected us this way, light hasn't affected us this way. We're in different places, we're experiencing different things as we change, you know, and you're changing, and it's this interesting art form between your mind and your heart, your gut and your mind, basically, you know, whatever you want to really say it. And if you want to go with all three, you're learning to communicate with all three. I feel like these are like real chapter driven level ups that are becoming presented and available, and they come from humbling self. They come from understanding the changes that are around you and realizing that just because things are different doesn't mean you're dumb. It just means you know other things than somebody else. You know, we're humbling ourselves. We're reframing ourselves so we don't get passionately reactive, or so we don't get hurt or triggered, so we stay calm, cool, collected. Obviously, we're all adults, but it's also helping keeping our go in check too, and it's going to keep us from not burning out. It's actually going to keep us extremely level-headed. Like, we're removing all the fire from the places it's not needed anymore, and we're putting it where the real heat source is. We're stoking that. Very cool, very interesting reading. And there is emotional and or spiritual growth with all of that. Like I said, these new chapters, this whole reading is pushing more towards learning to connect to self and to others. This is a self to self and self to others energy that is nice. I'm not seeing a drastic bit of it really being others to self-affecting, but there is a shadow side to everything. There's obviously this other side to what we're experiencing. There has to be. And so, depending on where you are in your evolution, you could be reactive or not, but you know what it is you got to work on, and that's all that's really important. When you hear me say these messages, the first things that pop into your head really are your intuitive thoughts, for now. Energies is going to take to connect into this energy, and I know it's going to be redundant, but it's an appreciation of your job well done. It's sitting and being happy of your art you've created. It's reflection, it's gratuity, it's gratefulness. It's the Nine of Cups. That's a beautiful energy. That's what energy we're using to step in to this artistic, dignified transformation of the way you connect and communicate. One more time, I'm being told to say even communication doesn't have to reflect as far as verbally or acts of service and kindness go. Communication can be how you vibrate with nature. It can be how you take care of things, that are how you manage your responsibilities. Communication is to all facets in which this card can represent to us. One card can't describe a human being, but we all got a card in us, every single one of us. And that card in us is put somewhere else, and only you know how and where that means. Somehow, somewhere, you are an artist, baby, and you got to let that shine. And you know how and where, or you know how and where the blockage is and what you want to do. It will help to reflect on how far you've come in whatever aspects you are focusing on, and be grateful for it. Again, free journaling is great, but also those gratefulness every mornings, man, they are a magical spice of life. I promise you. If you can write every single day 10 things you're grateful for, enough to feel and see different, like, you have to put enough real intention into it. If you just scribble, it's a good start. Then you'll get the habit, but you want to get the belief. That's the magical power, is the belief. And over time, it will be shown to you, which is really cool. If you do it long enough, and it doesn't have to be a long time. I started recognizing it within less than a week. Less than a week of starting my gratefulness journal, magic started happening. No joke. And I've started it up before, and I've quit it before, and each time within a week, dude. It's so fast. It's so fast. The amount of magic that happens is just simply due to the amount of heart I put into what I'm writing. That's it. But it is a magic spell. It is definitely a recipe to a spicier life. What other energies are going to help us gain into this? That's going to offer you a lot more mindfulness and a lot more content with communication as well, being grateful. It does shift you into a mindset of a more peaceful, calm, confident, how you express yourself, whatever. Anyways, Six of Pentacles. You are appropriately going to be learning how and where to this communication style, form, expression form is presented. And you won't really mind having to put it all in that place. You also don't mind not sharing it and putting it in your crap. Whatever crap you don't want to invest in. King of Cups. So we sit with love, and we express our love, and we offer our love, and we are fair and not overgiving, and we're grateful for that which we have, knowing that you're ready to receive more. However, the King of Cups, he's got that Ace of Cups. He's been experienced in this field, in these fields of expressing. He's learned, he's wisdomful, and he is masculine energy, so it's more outer world as opposed to inner world correlation as the masculine energy. Brother, we have two Queens of Swords in this pulling as well. I just have the Queen of Swords on the bottom of the deck, so there is again more logical expression coming through with it. I feel like fire signs are really learning to connect and communicate. That's it. Connect and communicate. Connect and communicate. And that's going to be very good because the passion and energy and warm-heartedness that comes from a fire sign in general, whether it be Leo, Aries, or Sagittarius, really, it's engaging. And it is, what's the word? Overflowing. It is overflowing. Yeah, it's very overflowing. And as you radiate fire from your energy, that spreads to the world around you passionately and effortlessly, just by nature. It lights up the world around you. Intrinsically. It just does. I'm just hearing fall deep into your passions here. I'm hearing you want to go for a wild ride this year. Fall deep into your passions. What blockages do we have to watch out for here in this year of 2025? What energies are here to fuck us up? Thank you, Spirit. Thank you. I'm sorry. Thank you. The Emperor. Interesting. The Emperor is a shadow card, huh? We want to watch out for being overly disciplinary, kind of stern, coming off as cold, coming off as ruler, not leader idea. Those energies will push against you. So we got to try to just be as tact and tasteful as possible. Mother of Wands, Queen of Wands energy. As much as we want to passionately do, and if we're communicating, I'm seeing this is in a connection. This is in a connection of a relationship as well for some of you. Then we don't want to overly control but also like passionately overgive kind of thing. We don't want to control that, because what can happen is if you put so much heart into the actions you want to do, but you don't get the response from the work, from what you did, you know, then that's gonna hurt, and that's definitely gonna help. um I really like the term lever and not trigger, but it's gonna trigger. I was watching a movie and they're like, oh, it's one of his levers, and I was like, oh, it's like pull the lever now that they're on. You know, as opposed to a trigger, bang bang. It's like pull the lever, that emotion is flying, that emotion, open the door, now you got to pull the lever, close the door. I feel like it's a lot more controlled of an expression as opposed to a trigger, like bang 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 bang. You can point it anywhere, you can do whatever and say whatever you want, you're flying bullets everywhere out your mouth. Whereas you pull in a lever and it's like, imagine a big stone door, emotions out, and then you open the lever and then cool. Everyone got their hats and whips? Cool. Thanks, Cindy. So, this Emperor is more masculine energy too, and this is that cold, direct, ruler not leader energy to watch out for. This Queen of Wands is telling us, and be careful of overprotection too of yourself. Communication is a balance between give and take. That's a balance between give and take with self to self, as well, and intrinsically and immediately a balance of give and take in the shared communication you're experiencing with the person too. Okay, but we do this naturally anyways. We all grew up and learned how to be social human beings to some degree, and so we can socialize. You know, we can think while people are speaking. We don't have to really embody all their words. We are conscious with them and mindful with them. We are present with them. We open our heart. We don't let them control us, and we don't get fueled by them either. If we don't like what they're saying, we can just think somebody is full of shit if we need to, and it's okay, because they don't have to know what we're thinking. That's the best part about you, is you can think whatever you want, whenever you want, and there's nothing anybody can do about that. You can think whatever you want. It's just controlling yourself to not do whatever you want. That's it. We want to watch out for Five of Wands reversed. Energies to watch out for. Yeah, I am using the book. This Five of Wands reversed. Yes, that's what I thought it was. Saturn in Leo. So, karmic Big Daddy Saturn sitting in a fire sign with this card. What kind of karmic resolution does that imply? Competition and debates. It says the reversed meaning of the Five of Wands is deception and misinformation. You may be misled, so carefully consider the source of messages before you make assumptions. So quick to react. We're tact, we're tasteful, we're mindful. We think people are full of shit if we need to. It's okay, because we're sitting here focusing on our spice and passion in life, and we're trying to make magic out of life. You know, we're trying to we're trying to create, we're trying to get an entire workforce behind us as we move mountains, man. You know, we're clearing the way. We're seeing them crops so we can sow, so everybody around us can sow and reap the rewards later, right? Right, fire signs? That's what we do. Advice for that card is at least be highly selective about the people you choose to trust. It's a good trick. It's a tough trick for people who are like me, but it's a good trick to learn once you finally learn the energy of trustlessness. They are a powerful energy, and I say they because for various reasons, but they're a powerful energy, trustlessness. They can offer discernment, they can offer independence, they can offer progress, self-development. It is an immensely powerful tool to have in your tool belt, something that I wish people would use more wisely. Also, people would use more frivolously sometimes, I feel like. That's just me. Right, fire signs? Right, fire signs? Also, energies to watch out for here. Three of Pentacles. As a blockage card, I'm just hearing stinginess. But stinginess with what you're creating. Like, we want results as much as we love validation and praise. So, really, I hear this year, focus on falling into your passions. Really, do what your heart wants. And kindly tell the people around you, fuck off, I'm going to do what I want. And that's okay. Lovingly. Not that way. Not the way I just said it. But not verbatim. But how you perfectly express yourself. Develop it. Learn it. Have a relationship with how you communicate. It's fun to navigate and practice and co-create with yourself. Practice. Try new things. It does change. It's funny because I feel a lot of people don't practice self-development, self-understanding, inwardness, and this belief is really few and far between. However, what I have noticed when I'm consciously or mindfully trying to change how I can communicate and how I can give and receive with people in relationships is I've learned that we have focused as a society on X amount of aspects growing up, on particular types. And then there's this whole side, the Y side of aspects that we haven't developed. And those are more like emotional changes, mindset shifts, inward reframing, reparenting, these things that have kind of been off the radar for past generations as far as development and education goes, right? With me still? So while we're learning how to do and not feel, do what we say, don't think, not be a free thinker, like as we have been programmed and conditioned to form and mold to this society currently. When you go through, if you want to learn how to communicate, it'll hit you hard. And the next time that you recognize that you are slipping up in your communication and you're starting to go back into the old ways that you would communicate, a quick blip of a thought pops up in your awareness, in your thought field, that says, calm down. And that's that quick little voice that you listen to. But most of the time, because we're just so used to this routine and conditions of talking over ourselves inward, that you just keep pushing over. When in that moment, that's where the embarrassment of stopping and practice gets to play. And you either kill it or you fail. You either succeed or you fail. Every time that I learn to communicate a new form or a way, I usually got to fail like a good 1 to 100 times, but I got to fail. It's rare that I always pop off the bat with the right response, but what happens is I say something weird. I'm like, I'm sorry that I reacted and not responded. And then, like everybody's a little uncomfortable. I walk off, I go and think about it, think about what I did and how I could have made it better. How was this my fault? And let's address that, because everything's my projection and my reality, right? So how was the situation a fault of mine? Not to go apologize, but to relearn, to reframe, to recreate, and then mindfully and consciously change who the hell I am. And we all have this power. And all it is not forgetting about those shitty moments that you go through. It's actually sitting, dwelling in them, and then being like, I don't want to do that anymore. And then the next time that happens, try again. Nobody wants to put themselves in awkward situations because it's an awkward situation. But you'd be so good at keeping cool if you got in a lot of arguments and were in a place to be able to practice being a dick until you can get better and not be a dick because of something that you have to figure out, whether you get emotionally charged and reactive and then you start saying things that fuel other people too, or whether, it like is this simmering rage that just pushes you off the deep end and all of a sudden you snap. I don't know, there's so many different ways to go about it, and I feel like fire signs in particular do have that heater button. I mean, we all have a button. I feel like fire signs have a particularly fun way to charge up and fire up conversations and situations if need be, to where other people better have a fire extinguisher handy in their tool belt, Otherwise, it's a mean fire sign. Nobody likes mad fire signs, Nobody likes mad people anyways. But all in all, wouldn't that be a handy week at school if, like, for the whole week your teachers just bashed you brutally, blah blah blah, and then you had to try to like keep your cool, and that was the whole practice? I bet enough arguments you'd probably learn to keep cool and learn to like let things be okay and just be like, hey, it is what it is. I always wish that could happen with me. So fire signs, I think that this is a beautiful reading. We are complete with this. These energies are meant for you for the year of 2025, for whenever you find this, if you so choose to accept. I'm happy to be here with you today, and thank you for receiving me through this message. I hope it finds you well, finds you perfectly. We're going to take a deep breath. We're going to lock in these energies. I'm going to disconnect and hold at the top. Send out some distant healing symbols out of myself, and we will be on our way. So take a deep breath if you want to. Otherwise, you can watch me do it. All right. All right, fire signs. Y'all have a beautiful 2025. I think it's going to be awesome. All right. Until then, much love.